talking about how to add silver leaf to backgrounds, to add borders, to add interest, to many things. And then also how to add silver leaf to a three-dimensional object. And we're going to begin by using the adhesive. This is the Mona Lisa brand. Most adhesives are all the same, and leafing also. So first thing I want to do is make sure that I shake the bottle really well. And then I've also taken an old brush and I've loaded it, well, first I rinsed it and then I loaded it with extender. And again, I put the extender in there so that it stays down on the bottom and that the actual adhesive will not dry in the brush. Because even though this is fairly corroded and it's a really old brush, I like to use it for other things and I don't want it to be completely ruined. Now the adhesive itself is white, but it will dry clear. And I'm going to apply 3 applications of the adhesive onto the surface. So I'll start at one end and try to go through to the other side with the same amount of adhesive in my brush. Now notice how I'm going one direction and then the other. I want to make sure that this is put on nice and smooth and even, just as if I was base coating it, because you don't want to have any ridges built up, because then that would show through and create some texture underneath the leafing. I'm working very quickly, and what's nice about this is it does dry fairly fast. So again, I want to make sure that I go both directions, keeping it nice and smooth and even. Making sure I have a nice even coverage. Then I'm going to let this dry and I'll be right back. Make sure that you get the adhesive completely off the bottle, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to open your bottle again. I also wipe off the inside of the cap really well. And then that way I know that I'm going to be able to open my bottle again. Okay, so now this is just a little bit sticky to the touch. I know that it's dry. It was about 30 minutes for it to completely dry. Only I think I need to come in a little bit heavier with my application and make it a little bit more milky. And then I'm going to just lightly go over it. You can see how milky it is. The first time I think I had a little bit too much moisture in my brush and maybe even a little bit of that extender, but you can see that it should have a slightly white look to it. And then, you know, when that dissipates, then the adhesive, and it becomes all clear, the adhesive has dried enough where you can apply the 3rd coat. So we're going to let that dry and I'll be back. Okay, the adhesive has turned clear and it's just a little bit sticky, so I know I can put my 3rd coat on. This time I'm going to apply it in this direction first. And I must say, with each application, I can feel it pooling a little bit more. And the reason I put it on 3 times is to make sure that there's enough stickiness to really hold the leafing down. I've tried with just 1 or 2 coats in the past, and sometimes I've missed some areas, and then I have to go through the process of putting more adhesive down. I wanted to show you that the leafing, when you open it up, it comes in sheets like this, and I'm using silver leaf right now. It comes in gold leaf and variegated leaves and a variety of other type of metals. But then I also have some gilding, some cotton gilding gloves, because when you touch this, you want to make sure the oils from your hands does not get on the leafing at all. The sheets are very lightweight and they come with this tissue paper, and I leave the leafing on the tissue paper before I apply it. Now if you need to, you can simply cut it to shape, or you can tear it. There's many ways, but because I'm just going to be applying multiple squares, I'll show you how it lays down so easily here. So what I do is I just come in and I put down one corner, and I very carefully lay this down. And I'm not too worried if there's going to be some missing pieces. And I just take a soft brush and work it out. And this brush is dry. Now I'm going to just take a little of this piece here and put it over the areas that I missed. And then I have a little bowl that I'm saving all my little pieces in, because I'll show you a different way to apply leafing in a second. So I'm going to come in with my next piece and just overlay it. Well, this is the top pieces, so there's some plastic on here. Again, I'll just take the excess and put it off to the side. And then I'll just put some of these excess pieces in this bowl. I think what makes leafing the hardest to deal with is the fact that it's just so lightweight. Now what I wanted to show you is right away is I keep old t-shirts off to the side and keep it right with my leafing kits. And I use this to really rub it in and burnish the silver leaf. And you can see how nice and smooth it is. So I'm going to take some of these pieces and just put it right in my bowl here. Now the crumbs I save in case I'm doing a smaller area, so obviously this is way too big of an area, but I wanted to show you is you can just pick these up like with your brush, or you can use your hands, and you can just lay them in and pounce them in. I like to crumple them up a little bit, and this way it gives you a little bit of texture. You eliminate the lines that you'll often see with the leafing by doing it this way. It takes a little bit longer, but again, I wouldn't do an entire border or big area with this, but it's just a really fun way, and it's, you know, and if you do want some of the background to show through, you can control it a little bit more. And then as I get it down, I'll just come in and pounce it a little bit more, really work it in. I think this takes a little bit longer, but I think this is one of my more favorite ways to apply leafing. So then I'm going to take my cotton t-shirt, and you can see it really doesn't look much different But like, again, I like just the little bit of texture that I'm getting with it. And then I'd continue, and I'd either continue laying down more panels or do it just like I did. But the other thing you can do is once it's done, once you have this down, it's very important that you come in and put some type of sealer on top of it. And they actually sell sealants and varnishes just for the leafing materials. But you can also use, if you want it to be a little bit less shiny, you can use a matte varnish, you can use a gloss varnish on it just to make sure it's sealed, because every time you touch it, you have the risk of putting your oils from your hands on it, which would then tarnish it. The other thing you can do is you can come over and you can add different colors over the leafing. So if I wanted this to be a little bit warmer, I could come in with like a raw umber over it, or if I wanted it to look more like the blue, I could come over with blue over it. So there's a variety of things you can do with the leafing, but I just think it really adds a wonderful, elegant look to your designs. Now I have this angel that I am going to apply silver leaf to, and I've already applied the 3 coats of the adhesive, the Mona Lisa adhesive to the angel. And what I love about being a decorative painter is I can take all of the knowledge that I have and apply it to home decor. So I got this angel at a local decor store, and I really didn't like the old aged brown wings. I wanted to make them more of a silvery color, so I thought it would be really fun to silver leaf them. So what I've done, because I don't want to have a flat texture, I'm gonna just lay these down. I'm just kind of crinkling the paper, and if it comes off in pieces, that's fine, because we already saw how I added the silver leafing when it was just lots of little pieces. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and I'm going to try to get this all the way in there. And then I'll just keep taking it off and applying it where there is none. And they do have a variety of tools that you can use, like they have bamboo tweezers and stuff, but I just like using these cotton gloves in my hands. It's fine. And so I'm smoothing this out. I got that in really nice, and I'm curving it underneath. Now, I thought it also would be good for you to know that you can do this to a 3-dimensional object, and it turns out quite nice. Look how pretty those wings are looking already. I'm loving this. So now, because I have some areas that are hard to get into, I can just use a brush and kind of poke it in. So I'm going to take some of these pieces right away. I don't know if you can see, I've got just like a little plastic lid from Tupperware underneath here, and that's just to catch the extra silver leaf, as I have some extra, so it doesn't fly all over my painting room. Because what you'll find is you will have silver leaf everywhere if you don't contain it. I really want to make sure I poke this in with a brush, get it inside there. because I really do want you to be able to tell that this is a bird still. And it really makes a difference having 3 coats of adhesive on an object. I know many of you would be, well, why not just 1? Why not just 2? But I find that it's the 3rd coat that really makes it super sticky. And then I just leave it set for a little while, make sure that it's completely dry. And then I know that the silver leaf is going to adhere. So now what I'm doing is, there's a little piece in here I'm going to just pick up with my brush. And then I can just, and this is just a bristle brush. It's the same one I use to apply the adhesive. And then I just wash the brush really quickly with some nice warm soap and water. Now, I was not planning on picking up and doing the other wing, but that's one thing is when you've got the adhesive, it will stick. So we'll just go with what I have here. It's so forgiving, it's really not that big of a deal at all. And if you want to have cracks, you can leave spaces. So I'm just taking off little pieces. Okay, so now I've got all of the silver leafing on, and so I just have like an old cotton t-shirt, and I just come in and buff it out. So I wanted to show you this fairly close. See how pretty the wings look? They have just a little bit of texture in them, but if I wanted that perfectly smooth, I can just really rub really hard and it smooths it out. And then I'm getting all the extra pieces off. And there's a few areas that I missed some silver leafing in, and so I can either leave those like it is, or I can come in, and what it is I didn't have the enough adhesive on there. And but I wanted to show you how easily that you can silver leaf something 3-dimensional and just make it so pretty. And I do have 2 of them. So here's how it looked before with the brown. And again, I have no brown in my bathroom where these are going. And so here she is with her pretty silver wings. I just love it. And the other thing I wanted to point out too, which I didn't, is before I put the adhesive on, because this kind of had like a rusty look to it, I did sand it, and I went over it with some all-purpose sealer, or some multi-purpose sealer. And then I put the adhesive on, and you can see that it's all shiny. This one is ready to go too. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're enjoying my series on how to paint with acrylic paints, and then also this new little twist using leafing to add interest to your designs, whether you're doing something 3-dimensional or just simply coming in and adding a border onto a background piece, or adding some leaf to a mixed media piece. Silver leafing, or leafing in general, it can just add so much elegance to a project. If you're new to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe, and please give me a thumbs up so I know that you're enjoying the videos. Also, remember to click on the bell so that you will be reminded every time I upload a video to my channel. Also, please share my videos with your friends. There is a share button below, and I would love to get the word out that I have all these different technique videos on my channel so that others can come and learn and enjoy the joy of painting. So thank you for joining me today, and until next time, may painting always bring you joy.